Today, if and when one of you in our Steam chat room or on Insta, if you guys are playing bingo as well, if you get a bingo that is 5 across in any direction, I need you to send a message to one of our co-hosts. Actually, send it to Christina, because if you are the first person to get this right, you have the honor of then asking my mom. Well, you can actually choose. You can do a physical challenge, or you can ask my mom any question you want about me, and she will, well, I guess, answer that. So you can choose. You can dare me to do any type of physical challenge you want, or you can ask my mother, who's in the chat, if I can find her somewhere here. I don't know where mom went. Anyway, we'll find her. There she is. You can ask my esteemed mother, who is holding, what are you holding there? Looks like, maybe that is a Dimetrodon. Okay, but that's not a dino, but I like where your head's at. You're allowed to ask her any question you possibly want about me, and she will answer because I'm an open book. I don't care. So yeah, that is our bingo card for today. Christina, what are we talking about today, though?
We are talking about, if I'm not mistaken...
You're not.
Never. Pachycephalosaurus.
You are, well, not just the Pachycephalosaurus, but all Pachycephalosaurs or Pachycephalosaurids. It's a whole group. Obviously, the most famous is the Pachycephalosaur. Oh, speaking of Christina's kiddos, she told me yesterday that apparently her students call these the hands of science. It just happens. It just happens. But that's not what we're talking about right now. This is a Pachycephalosaurus for scale. You can see how big it is again, next to a dog and a chicken. Here's an interpretation of what it may have looked like fleshed out in the wild. Again, defining diagnostic features are that crazy thick dome skull. We'll come back to that. And all these weird little ossicles and spiky bones that come out around the side of the top of its head. So that is Pachycephalosaurus. That is our dinosaur of the day. We're talking all about Pachycephalosaurids. But as we do every day, we get this ball rolling with dino or not a dino. So I'm going to find our friend Mike. Mike Parnham, I'm going to unmute you for a second. There you are. So Mike, you crushed the game yesterday. You got 9 out of 10. You're setting a new bar for this game. But most importantly, you get to choose who's going to play today. I know you slept on it. Who we got? Who's playing?
Well, I'm very interested to learn the dino knowledge of one of your esteemed colleagues. So, Grace, the honor will be yours.
Snap. All right. We're going to Grace. Grace is covering her face because, Grace, you seem to always say that you don't know anything about dinosaurs. But again, I argue you probably know more than the average person because you're my friend. And so you just hear it all the time. Plus, you work in a museum. So you hear.
I do work in a museum, but I am not a scientist. Which I work at the Museum of Natural History.
Bingo Square.
But I am not a scientist or a researcher or a curator or a collections manager or an educator or
Grace, name all the occupations you're not. Go.
Like so many more things,
right.
But you're right. I do work around these bones all day and just spend a lot of time with you. So maybe I'll do okay, but I'm gonna need a lot of help from everyone.
Good reminder.
Lots of thumbs up and down.
Good reminder. You guys can give thumbs up or down. You can shake your head. You can also send a message to either Grace or Christina in the chat box if you think they need help from phoning a friend. Grace, the rules are simple for dino or not a dino. I will read you the name of 10 different animals, some of which are actual dinosaurs, some I either made up or are the name of something that's absolutely not a dinosaur. There are no gotchas like some sort of extinct reptile or crocodilian that like actually existed but is not a dino. This is absolutely either a dinosaur or something totally not even close. All you have to do is say dino or not a dino. Grace, are you ready to play?
I've never been more ready in my whole life. Let's go.
Good, because this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Number 1. Alaskocephale. Alaskocephale.
Oh God, I'm getting a lot of mixed reactions. Let's go with yes, because I feel like we definitely found
Christina took off her glasses
in
and
Alaska.
touched her face, which means she must be in quarantine. You're going yes or no for Alaskocephale? Yes. Alaskocephale is a dinosaur. Well done. It is actually a type of Pachycephalosaurid. Grace, bonus, where do you think it was found?
Alaska.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. Yes. So you're 1-1. Next. Stegoceras. Stegoceras. Not Stegosaurus. Stegoceras.
Yeah, it sounds like a real girly Stegosaurus. I'm gonna go with yes.
What made you think it's a girly Stegosaurus?
Like just the ending is very, like, you know, nice sounding.
Okay, fine. It is. It is a dinosaur. Stegoceras
Okay,
is a dinosaur. It's actually a type of Pachycephalosaur as well. You're 2 for 2. You're doing great.
Awesome, killing it.
It's gonna get a little harder. Here we go. Quan Chi. Quan Chi. I can spell any of these if you would like. Quan Chi.
Can you
Also,
use
any
it
of
in a
you on
sentence?
Wait, just real quick. Any of you on Instagram that are watching, if you say yes or no, I can relay your thoughts to Grace. Quan Chi.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Yes. This dinosaur's name might be Quan Chi.
I'm gonna go with no.
No, you are correct again. Quan Chi is not a dinosaur. Quan Chi is a character from Mortal Kombat. Number 4, Raiden. Raiden.
Can you spell that? Spell that.
R-A-I-D-E-N. Raiden.
No.
No, that is also a Mortal Kombat character. Wow, crushing it. 4 of 4.
Danelle just
Max
up
is
and
playing-
left. You see that?
What, Christina?
Danelle just up and left.
What?
Just
She's
take a
like,
lap.
I can't do it with this. All right. Grace, you're doing great. You're 4 of 4 right now, but
Okay.
you can still
All
lose.
right.
You can still lose. So you can get the next 6 wrong. That's how math works. We'll check
Thanks
in
for
on
your
that later.
confidence in me. I
Next.
appreciate it.
I got to make sure I'm pronouncing these correctly. Acrophilus. Acrophilus. A-C-R-O-T-H-O-L-U-S. Acrophilus.
I'm gonna go with yes.
Acrophilus.
Yeah, that's a
Crushing the game
dinosaur.
right now. You were 5 for 5. Next, Sub-Zero. No, we're not doing any more Mortal Kombat characters. Kidding. We're not doing Mortal Kombat. Next one, Apatodon. 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 We got a couple people on Insta, I believe. Oh wait, unless they were talking about Acrophilus.
They were talking about the last one.
Apatodon.
Can you spell it?
Sure. A-P-A-T-O-D-O-N. Apatodon.
Yes.
No, you got one wrong. That is a combination of a Pachycephalosaurus and iguanodon. A Apatodon is not a real dinosaur. It's all right. You can't be perfect. You're not Mike out here. Come on. All right. Next, Ceratosaurus. Ceratosaurus. The first 4 letters are like Michael Cera, C-E-R-A, Ceratosaurus.
Ceratosaurus. Yes.
That is a dinosaur. You've already won, but we're going to keep going to see if you can
Amazing.
tie Mike's 9 out of 10 Ceratosaurus.
Amazing. Whew, pressure.
All right.
Okay.
Elafrosaurus. Elafrosaurus. I can spell
I don't
it
think
if you
so.
want.
No. I don't think so.
You're just going no.
No.
Well, you should have gone yes, because that is an actual dinosaur. Elafrosaurus. E-L-A-P-H-R-O Saurus. Mike will maintain his crown at least for one more day, but that doesn't mean you're not going to win this round. Okay, so you have gotten 6 right, 2 wrong. You got 2 more. Let me make sure I pronounce this correctly. Leviathanasuchus. Leviathanasuchus. We know what Leviathan means. We know Suchus means crocodile or alligator type. Leviathanasuchus.
Like, no.
Everyone's face is the
No.
same. Just like,
No.
no, that is not. It
No.
should be, though. That's a really cool name. Leviathanasuchus. Paleontologists out there, if you find an ancient giant crocodile-shaped thing, Leviathanasuchus is available. Okay, one more. Here we go. Last
Okay.
but not least, Kodos. K-O-D-O-S. Kodos. Is Kodos a dinosaur?
How do you spell it? K-O?
K-O-D-O-S.
No.
No, you don't think so?
No,
What
no,
if I told
no.
you it's closely related to Kang? K-A-N-G.
What's Kang?
No?
I don't know what Kang is.
Mike knows where this is. No, Kodos and Kang are the aliens from The Simpsons. Come on, of course that's not a dinosaur. All right. You got 8 out of 10, which is very good.
Thank you.
Second
thank you.
ever. Nothing
Thank
to-
you, everyone, for helping. Greatly
That is-
appreciate it.
You did really well. Grace, can you tell everyone what you've won? Because I know you know.
I want a high five.
You won a high five, but you've also won the right to choose,
Oh.
right? Go ahead.
Oh, okay. That too.
What?
Okay.
Tell us.
So tomorrow I'm going to choose.
You were going to choose who our competitors tomorrow, but you did really well.
Awesome.
8 out of 10 is great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did not
I guess,
your mic, but pretty good. Hi, Mom.
Okay.
Mom's back. All right, let's get into it. Christina, where's Christina? I lost my co-host. Is she really? Where's Christina? Do people see Christina in one of the boxes? Am I just?
No, I think she's not in
she
right now.
disappeared?
Yes.
All right, I guess I'll go this alone. Grace, can you keep an eye on that? See
yeah.
Try to find her and or let her back in if she's gone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, friends, colleagues, countrymen, lend me your ears because today we are talking about the Pachycephalosaurids. Now, these are some of the funnest dinosaurs. I know Zach, if he's here somewhere as well. This is one of Zach, who's one of my good friends, worked at the museum with me for a long time. This is one of his favorite dinosaurs, a group of dinosaurs of all time. So I'm going to start, per usual, by showing you some images. I know you guys know what a lot of these look like. So Pachycephalosaurs are characterized by these crazy skulls, right? They have these big domes. Many of them have these big domes. Some of the domes are flatter, but each one of them in the Pachycephalosaurid family has a really thick head. In fact, they are called thick-headed lizards. That's what Pachycephalosaur means. They're thick-headed lizards, up to 9 inches of bone in their skull. They're not just happy to see you. That is 9 inches of skull bone. Now, they lived from about 90 to 66 million years ago, which means they are around at the end of the Cretaceous. I like to think about the dinosaurs that are around that could have potentially literally looked up and seen the meteor coming that was about to kill them. This is one of them. This is one of their, or the Pachycephalosaurs are one group like that. So this
Quick
is
update from Christina. She's not sure what happened with her internet. She's going to be back in as soon as possible.
Okay, great. It's good to hear. So again, this is a Pachycephalosaur skull. We saw this earlier. This is an image of what a Pachycephalosaur might look like. They came in some different shapes and sizes. We'll get to that in a little bit. They've only been found in Central Asia. We're talking China and Mongolia and North America. So I know we talk a lot about different dinosaurs that have been found on every continent or almost every continent, including Antarctica. This is not one. Central Asia and North America only. They were herbivores or maybe omnivores. I'm going to go back to the skull again just for a second. There's still a little bit of debate about that because if we look at these teeth, they're not really made for grinding plants or like fibrous plant matter the way we think of like Triceratops teeth or Hadrosaurus teeth. They're these little sharp, serrated little dagger guys. And so we think they had a pretty eclectic diet. They're eating things from plants to fruits to seeds, maybe insects and leaves. So in that way, we think they probably were opportunistic feeders, eating whatever they could, maybe getting a hold of meat here and there. Not really sure. They were all bipedal, walking on 2 legs. Here's another one of them. Always up on 2 legs with small, tiny front arms, kind of like theropods, like Velociraptor, T-Rex, that type of thing. But again, their diagnostic feature is not only that dome skull, but all these like bony protuberances around that dome skull on the top. And we'll get back to those in a little bit. Those are pretty cool. The other weird thing about these is we have not found one complete skeleton of any Pachycephalosaur. Most of the time, all we find are actually the skulls. And it makes sense, right? If you have 9 inches thick bone, that's going to be something that's going to last a lot easier than smaller, thinner bones that can get broken up easily. So we oftentimes just find skull caps. We have found body parts from a lot of them that help us piece together what the whole body plan looks like. But the majority of the time, we're just finding the skull or even parts of the skull. So we've never actually found a complete or even quite nearly complete Pachycephalosaur. But the cool thing about maintaining those skulls is we have a pretty good idea of what their brain shape and size look like. So if you have a well-preserved dinosaur skull, you can take an endocast, which is basically if you filled the empty space in the skull where the brain used to be with, let's say, like Play-Doh, and then you take that Play-Doh out, They don't actually use Play-Doh, but you could do this at home. And then you can see an exact shape of what the brain would have looked like. And we know based on that, they had very large olfactory bulbs, olfactory zones, much larger for their body and their brain size than other dinos, which indicates to us they probably had a really good sense of smell. Which is cool, which is a cool thing to know, using that maybe to find all those different types of food that we mentioned before. Now, is Christina back, by the way? We still anti-Christina?
Not yet.
All right,
Not
so
yet.
Grace, I'm going to unmute Megan as well. Megan, if you guys want to funnel me questions and comments as we go, cool. I'm going to actually stop for a hot second and see if I can find Zach. Where's my dude, Zach?
Zach's heading out. He has to go back.
I'm right here.
Oh, that's right.
I'll leave in a second.
You're not.
I know there you are. Zach, I know you are short on time today. I'm going to bring you to the front. Zach, we did the Dinosaur Show episode about how Pachycephalosaurus is your favorite dino. We're going to talk about that in a second. Is there anything you want to say before you got to bounce about your fave dino?
You know, I think they're one of the most underrated dinosaurs out there, and I think that's because we don't know a lot about them.
Okay.
But I think my favorite thing about them, and I hope you talk about this later, is some of their like potential behaviors, and how they use those heads, because these are weird behaviors that we're seeing in an animal that we also see in animals today.
Yeah.
And that kind of blows my mind. Like a way old extinct animal has these behaviors that we're still constantly seeing, which is pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah, we talk about using modern corollaries all the time to make guesses and smart inferences about ancient animals. Heck yeah. I do remember, Zach, one of the things you said when we talked about it is that you like them because they all kind of look like old bald men.
They do.
Just like
bald head with a little bit of hair around.
Yeah, like a friar almost type of situation.
Yeah.
Right. All right, Zach. Thank you for joining us. Go do work.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Christina's back.
Christina's back just in time. Let me see if I can find Christina, bring her back to the front. She's in the chat. Can someone make her a co-host again if she's not?
Only you can do that. Only you.
Only I have the power.
Only you have the power.
All right, I'm doing it right now. Make co-host. Boom.
Hey, guys.
She's back. Yay.
Welcome back.
Oh, did you run to the store to get a sauropod sippy cup? What's happening?
Yeah, I just had to step out for a second and get some dino hydration. Sorry, everybody.
Listen, every living thing we know survives and depends on water to a certain extent, including Christina Gustovich. All right, Christina, are you ready to dive into our 3 Pachycephalosaurs of the day?
3?
3. We do 3 dinos as an example of the group every day. Come on, don't be ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, cool. All right, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, we have a dino who I'm going to bring up onto the screen right now. Where's my share screen? Ba-ba-da-ba. I do say that a lot. I'm sorry. Homalocephale. Say that 3 times fast. Homalocephale. This is Homalocephale. This dude right here is one of the earlier Pachycephalosaurs. It lived about 80 million years ago in Mongolia. Not so big. And its name, by the way, means even head. And we'll get to that in a sec. But it's not so big. It's only about 5 feet, only about 90 pounds. So not so dissimilar. Oh, here we go. About the size of a human. Maybe like not a giant full-grown human, but not so big.
Very sassy human.
Very sassy. I know. I love that hip thrust to the side, crushing it. So here's the deal with this one and why. Well, there's 2 interesting characteristics, I think. First of all, they had an unusually broad pelvis.
Hey.
So hit me up.
Ooh.
Into those broad pelvises. You know how I roll. But the cooler, I think, even cooler feature is if you look at its head, it doesn't have that big round domed head in the way that Pachycephalosaurus does, right? It's a much more flat head. And so we originally actually thought that because this was found in similar areas at similar time strata, like dated in the rock, as Pachycephalosaurus, we thought this might be just a juvenile version that hadn't fully matured. And as the dinosaur matured, that head would get more bulbous on the top and you'd get more of those spiky things around the side so that they actually could be used for the functions we'll talk about in a little bit. But we've actually since found, and this is one interpretation, here's another one, very cute. I love how cute this little dude is. We have since found juvenile Pachycephalosaurs that have a more rounded head, which pretty much lays to rest the theory this guy was simply a juvenile of that. So it is probably most likely its own distinct species, which is pretty cool. Oh, I'm sorry. I messed that up. They didn't think they were a juvenile of Pachycephalosaurus. They thought they were juvenile of a similar dino named Prenocephale, a different Prenocephale, a different pair. Pachycephalosaur. Prenocephaly, not Pachycephalosaurus. Anyway, so that's our first one. Homalocephale means even head. I love the color interpretation here. The blue on top. Again, totally speculative. We have no real idea. Christina, anything you want to input or any questions at this point before we move to our second Pachycephalosaur?
Can you repeat the name of the little one?
Of the little one?
Yeah.
Homalocephale. It's Homalocephale. I think it's actually, it should be, yeah, it's up here on the top of the window.
Oh, yeah, as usual. I should have just looked at the name of the file.
I
Thank
really
you.
got to up this iCloud storage space too. Homalocephale, that's it right there. Any other question? No?
No, I don't have any questions yet. So if you have questions, remember to send them to me or Grace, who I refer to as another Grace in the chat. I'm sorry, I meant another co-host, and then I put Grace also. So send us your questions.
And on Insta, Grace is monitoring the chat for getting questions on Insta. Also, Grace, I know this is a big concern to you, but guess what? Last night, I washed this t-shirt.
Good.
Okay.
I'm very, very pleased. Good.
Okay. Good. All right, we're moving on. We're going to dinosaur number 2, which is Stego Saris. I know this is one of the ones we mentioned in Dino or Not a Dino. It is spelled S-T-E-G-O, Stego Saris, C-E-R-A-S. And that means horn roof. This guy lived about 75 million years ago right here in North America. And obviously, I got some pictures of Stegoceras. Stegoceras didn't look so dissimilar from Pachycephalosaurus, except for its size. So you can see how small a Stegoceras is in this image next to this guy waving. Oh, I forgot to mention, while you were drawing your Pachycephalosaurs, I need you to kind of like, as it comes together and it kind of speaks to you, I want a name for it. Not just the person you put next to it for scale, but I need to know if you're drawing Bob, the Pachycephalosaurus, or Sarah, the Pachycephalosaurus. I need a name for your dino. So this is Stegoceras, again, similar to Pachycephalosaurus, a lot smaller, not quite as big. And a couple of the interesting characteristics of this guy, I wrote my words so small right here. Oh yeah, I was talking about teeth earlier. Much like most Pachycephalosaurs, they had teeth much like these, little daggery, serrated little grooves on the edges, which we think were used for processing all different types of food. Again, omnivores, probably opportunistic, may have eaten meat from time to time, but probably eating insects, leaves, fruit, nuts, that type of thing, but not grasses, because we learned yesterday that grasses, as we know them, did not exist during the time of the dinosaurs. So first,
I got a question.
Yeah.
I got a question when we were first getting started about whether they were omnivores or herbivores. I know I've seen some research that says they had teeth in the back that look like they were for plants, but then there have been some skulls found with teeth at the front that look like they could be for tearing meat.
So,
what do you think?
I mean, look back at these. You can see on this skull, is this sharing? I just need to double check.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can see there's like tiny little dagger-like teeth coming out the front right there. But a good thing to remember, all Pachycephalosaurs, from Homalocephale to Pachycephalosaurus to Stegoceras, they all had beaks. You can see in the skull this tiny little beak on the front. It's a much smaller beak than like a Triceratops, but every single species, if you look carefully at the front of their mouth, had these little beaks, right? And so they didn't have like teeth coming out the front. It's not like spiky ones that we'd think of as definitely for grabbing meat or tearing meat, but they did have these beaks and they had these tiny little sharp teeth. So again, we're not exactly sure because we haven't found any complete specimens. And so we also have not found any that show stomach contents. I know we've talked on here a lot about different dinosaurs we found with contents in their stomach, tells us exactly what they ate, at least for their last meal. This one, we're not really sure. Cool. Oh, I thought you had your hand up again, Christina. No? Is it time? Is it time that we move on to the piece de resistance of the day? The Pachycephalosaurus. Zach Martellucci's, thank you. Zach Martellucci's favorite dino, the one we're drawing today. To bring it back up on the screen, this is our friend right here, Pachycephalosaurus. I like the coloration on this. I like the big muscular hind legs. I like the tubercles and the little bumps and spines around the head. Now, again, Size, it was bigger than most other Pachycephalosaurs. I'm not sure if it was I think it was actually the largest of the Pachycephalosaurs. I'm not positive, but it was amongst the biggest, if not the biggest. I mean, we're talking 15 feet long, nearly 1,000 pounds, right? But if we're going to talk about these, we obviously have to talk about those crazy dome skulls. Now, and you can see the beak here as well. Now, because we found Pachycephalosaur juveniles, we know that skull wasn't filled in that thick, at least as a youngin. So as they grew, the skull got thicker and bigger, and it grew those little spines and bumps larger around the side. And so because of that, that's another reason that adds fuel to the fire, that these guys use these as adults for intra-species combat. Not inter, so inter like interstate, connects to states. Intra with an A, like intramurals, is between one group. So intra-species combat means fighting between two animals in the same group. And so for a long time, we've thought that Pachycephalosaurs fought, at least the males, by lining up next to each other and then bashing those heads together, much like rams do today, right? There's an image. Let me show you an image of that right here. So here's one interpretation of what that may have looked like for, I'm not sure which Pachycephalosaur species. Oh, maybe this is Pachycephalosaurus. I'm not sure which species within the group this is, if it's not Pachycephalosaurus, but this is a cool drawing showing what we used to think they use those heads for, how they would fight, right? They would basically line up their spines in straight lines, come at each other like rams, and bash those heads together. And we thought that for a very long time. We recognize now, though, that's probably unlikely. So for a couple reasons. First of all, you would have very glancing, not effectual. Oh, was it not sharing that picture? Can you guys see this? Yeah, you are. Okay. There would be very glancing, non-effectual blows, right? Because it's rounded, you just basically hit and slide past. Whereas rams, you're hitting, and there's not really that ability for the head or the other one to go past, because the horns kind of hook and touch each other in a way that doesn't allow for that. Whereas with these, we think it would just kind of hit and slide right past, which wouldn't really make sense for this type of combat. That, coupled with the fact that we now know they had a much more S-shaped neck that wouldn't have aligned properly like that, and that is exemplified by this image right here. So on the top one, it's a little bit more of a traditional Pachycephalosaurus fighting. Even the one in the middle, though, you can start to see this interpretation where the neck isn't a straight line as much as a little more of an S. And so we actually think that these guys probably had that intra-species combat in a similar fashion to the bottom picture here, where they're either using that to flank hit each other or flank headbutt, kind of line up side to side almost, and then swing and hit their heads at the other's head, not just their body. And we know they hit head to head because we have a fair amount of Pachycephalosaurus skulls that exhibit trauma, scars, and healing from what we believe to be intra-species combat. The other thing that adds fuel to this, that adds fuel to the idea that they use their heads for fighting. Again, we're not exactly sure how they would have met and hit, but these skulls were filled with something called fibrolamellar bone. Fibrolamellar bone. So in modern animals, this is the most common type of connective tissue. And it also is absolutely key in regrowing and healing bone injuries. And so if you have that type of bone and you're using your heads to fight and you get injured, it's pretty helpful to have that type of tissue that can heal so you can literally live to fight another day. Again, why are they fighting? Probably for territory, probably for mates. Just like we say pretty much every day, fighting or flirting. Now, I'm going to pause there for a second. Could they talk? Great question. Probably not. Yeah, and like giraffes. Someone mentioned maybe like giraffes, so they kind of stand side to side and do like one of these guys. If you've ever seen giraffes fight, it is incredibly violent. So look that up if you're into it. Yo, what's up, Kim Gusevich? Thanks for making Christina. You crushed the game. 13 out of 10. 13 out of 10.
Thanks, Mom.
All right, so those are our three Pachycephalosaurs of the day. We got Homalocephale, we got Stegoceras, and we got the one, the only Pachycephalosaurus. We know that they were fighting. We're not exactly sure how they were fighting, but it probably wasn't the way we think, where they're summoning head-to-head straight on. Christina and Grace, I know we got some questions and some thoughts. Hit me. Let's go.
Are these guys clappers, not slappers? Why do we think they had such tiny hands if they don't have a full skeleton? Do we think their hands were useful? Sorry, that's a million hand questions. I won't say your name, the person who sent this to me, because they asked me not to.
Oh, we don't have any complete skeletons, but we do have some skeletons with hands and arms, like a few partial parts. So we kind of know we have a good idea of what most of them probably look like with respect to their arms. As far as the use goes, I mean, probably used to help procure a lot of that plant matter. I mean, they're not using them to fight, but they're probably using it to grab things like maybe insects or helping process and remove plants and nuts that they're eating or fruits. Not really sure. Obviously, they were useful because they existed, and they didn't really get smaller over time. Like we can see certain tyrannosaur hands getting smaller over time, like T-Rex, as other parts of their body got bigger and bigger. And that basically just shows to me that nature was selecting for characteristics that were more advantageous in parts of the body than in others. And so over time, hands got smaller while heads and teeth and jaws got bigger. That didn't quite happen with Pachycephalosaurs. Their arms stayed about the same for the duration of the time they existed, 90 to about 66 million years ago. But what they were using those hands for exactly, I don't know, maybe high fives. Good question about the clappers or slappers, though. I would guess they were clappers, much like theropods, but I'm not positive.
I'm gonna unmute Michael for just a second. He wants to share another reason why they wouldn't ram head on.
Nice.
So Michael,
let's go.
Well, yes, Dustin, you touched on a couple of good things, the vertebrae and the round surfaces, but one other thing, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
One other thing is scientists have actually taken a look at the domes of Pachycephalosaurs and found that they're not as solid as you might think. Okay. They're actually full of holes. It's not unlike a honeycomb. So if they actually tried to ram head on, those things might collapse. What they think they might have done, besides just butting each other in the side of the head like giraffes, they could have approached it like football players do, where nowadays they want to avoid head-on collisions. Maybe rather they just put those heads into the stomach or the body of another opponent. Could be one of their own kind, could be a predator.
Yeah, I didn't even mention that. You're right. They can definitely use those same features that we think of for interspecies combat as protection from predators, right? You line that down or you line that head up and run into the side of an animal that's trying to eat you for sure. It's a good point. Now, I would question the honeycomb idea. And the reason it immediately made me think about woodpeckers, who have that much more like lattice-like skull structure, which I thought was to help absorb impact from hitting, right? Because if it's not solid bone and you have that honeycomb, it can flex a little bit. But I don't know. That's a great. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about that. Again, always more questions, but that's a great point. Thank you, Michael. All right, what else we got? Grace, Christina.
I have a question unrelated to the dinosaur that we're talking about today, but just a fun question from Sasha, who wanted to know that, Dustin, if you found a dinosaur in your backyard right now, what would you name it?
It would totally depend on the type of dinosaur. You know what I mean? I probably
Okay, well, you found the dinosaur of the day in your backyard. What would you name it?
Well, it already has a name.
Hey,
I know. So I think it would depend. First of all, it would depend on how big it was. It would depend on who I was working with, whether it was other scientists or through a museum. No, these are all concerns that you have to think about when you name a dinosaur. You know, I can't just be like, oh, I name it Fred, right? Obviously, a name for a ferocious predator is probably going to be a little different than a name for like a really nice, small, like sauropod. That's a good question. I'd want to name it something weird and different and like something that most people would probably get wrong in dino or not a dino just because I'm extra like that. But that's a great question.
Okay, so why don't you think on it, and tomorrow, Sasha, Dustin will have a real answer for you.
Sasha, how about this? Tomorrow, come back with just a general group. Like if I found a dinosaur that kind of looks like a long neck or kind of looks like a velociraptor. So I want the group that it might fit in, as well as just generally how big it is. And then I will tell you what I'm going to name it. That's a great, I love that idea though. Love that idea.
No matter what it looks like or what it does, I'm naming it after myself, and it's Augustosaurus.
Augustosaurus?
Like Gustovich.
Why?
Because that's my name.
Quick shout to my best friend's kids who are currently watching from a book nook, very quietly not moving.
M has got a great fun fact about.
Tell your dad to make a
honeycombs.
cameo. Tell your dad to show up. Go get your dad. Bring him back.
M wants everyone to know that she has a lot of friends who do industrial design, and using a lattice-like structure on helmets and other protective gear is huge right now because it spreads out force better. So shout out to honeycomb structure, I guess, for saving our heads. Hi, John.
Is he there? Is he there? Hold on. I gotta find him. All right, I gotta.
Gotcha. John, you're unmuted.
I just want everyone to say hi to my friend John. John is my best friend. We grew up playing lots and lots of sports together. He is the. I don't say this. I say this with 100% certainty. He's the best all-around athlete I have ever met or hung out with in my entire life. True story.
It's a lie.
It's not a lie. I don't know if he can dunk anymore, but this dude can jump out of the gym.
I could as of a month and a half ago. I still could. So
yes, we'll get you back there. We have the technology. We'll rebuild him.
Right now, I'm just trying to make pancakes and eggs for lunch.
Oh,
amazing!
During the homeschool, because they have pancakes, mini pancakes at lunch at school, and French toast sticks and all this other stuff. So you got to recreate it.
What
I
a
didn't know
dad!
you were such a great chef.
Amazing.
He
I don't know about it being a great chef. Breakfast is the only thing I can cook.
So I'm going to let you go in a second, but a really polarizing question we've discussed on this platform before. Pick a side. We're at war. You got to go one way or the other. Pancakes or waffles?
Oh, absolutely waffles, 100%.
Yeah,
Did your kids both say pancakes and you said
Yeah,
waffles?
my kids are terrible.
you're wrong. No.
Pancakes are tasty.
Waffles, you have it's a little thicker, a little fluffier.
Mhm.
It goes better with fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Pockets.
You do some.
Waffles are just a tiny edible bowl, basically.
Exactly, that's what I get.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay.
She's like, I want a bowl. I want an edible bowl.
Thank you for that input. This is why we're friends, because you're on the right side of history. Always.
Yeah, 100%. Got to go waffles.
Okay, Christina.
No, we're
Hi.
going pancake.
Just because I was caught eating pancakes one time
Wait.
doesn't mean I don't support waffles fully. I just don't have a waffle iron in these trying times, okay?
Listen, I have nothing at all against pancakes whatsoever. I just think it's very fun. In fact, I used to, before all this, do a monthly show where we just unnecessarily pitted two different topics against each other, because it's fun to fight to the death over frivolous things that don't matter. Because this is the world we're living in now. All right, pancakes and waffles. So it is 12:45. I think we have time for a couple more questions. As we do these last questions and thoughts, I'm going to start scrolling through and bringing up to the fore you guys and your beautiful Pachycephalosaur drawings. I might need to unmute you to ask you the name of your dino if you don't write it on the paper next to it. So if you take a moment to do that, if you have not named it yet, please write its name next to the image. So Christina, you can feed me, and Grace, feed me questions, comments. We'll start with Megan right here. Megan, that's a beautiful Pachycephalosaur. Does it have a name?
I'll name him Jerome. He's not quite done.
Jerome, not quite done Pachycephalosaur. Yeah. I like it.
I have a quick question.
Please, yeah.
How unlikely do you think the scene in the second Jurassic World is where the Pachycephalosaur rams through enough to break that wall down?
I was thinking of the one where he rams the car and it hits the person out the other side of the car.
I mean, we'll say both.
Yeah.
I mean,
probably pretty realistic. I mean, I don't know how we talked about how much absorption that head would have taken, whether or not they'd be able to hit themselves over and over on a brick wall without getting concussed. I don't know. I don't know, but
a little concussed. I mean, he was kind of stumbling around after. I always feel bad.
At least it's based in reality, though. You know what I mean? Versus Dilophosaurus with the frill and the spitting. There's literally no evidence whatsoever for that. At least they base that somewhat in reality, much like Jada did with Jack the Pack. Holla! I like the yellow underside, the little bony spikes around the skull. That's pretty good. Danelle, what do we got here? It looks like you may have drawn Homalocephale because the head's a little bit flatter. No, it is a Pachy. Wait, I'm going to unmute you. What? Say this again?
At drawing. This was a solid attempt.
No, that's great. What's its name?
Derp.
Derp. Great name for a Pachy. Rob.
For a wrongly drawn animal.
Okay. Rob, what's up? Hit us, Rob.
First off, I just wanted to say that I had bingo. And second, I could not identify. Where was it now? Darn it, I think I just lost it.
Rob, if it is true that you have bingo, what that means is I need to find my mom because you get to ask her any question you want about me. So I'm going to unmute my mom right now. Rob, ask Sharon Lynn Growick, my esteemed matriarch, anything you want to know about me.
If I could ask anything, what would be if you were bored, what would be the thing that he would just go straight on doing if he got bored?
You mean other than this Dino Zoom room? Mom,
yes.
If I was very bored, what would I do? That's it. That's Rob's question.
Almost anything.
Oh. Can you be slightly more specific? Is there any hobbies or tasks or things you see
something
me?
Physical, something very physical, something that would take up a lot of energy, possibly annoy everybody else around you.
Wow.
We would put you outside and you'd be okay.
Yes. Yeah, she basically put one of those. We have an electric dog fence, so you probably just put that collar on me, give me a glass of Mountain Dew, and watch me run circles in the backyard.
Dustin is rarely bored.
It's true. It's true.
Because only boring people are bored.
Always more to learn. Thanks, Mom. But you're right. I have way too much energy. I need to get rid of it somehow.
Okay.
All right. Let's go back to our drawings. Thanks, Rob. Great question. Thanks, Mom.
Questions.
For blowing up my spot. Please just funnel me the questions as we look at some of these.
If they were fighting for mates, would the males have stronger or different heads than the females, like deer and rams do?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. We think there's a fair amount of sexual dimorphism difference between males and females in the not only the thickness of the skull, but in the horns and the ornamentation around it. It may have had different colors too. So yeah, absolutely. Look at this. This is Chandler. That looks great.
Were they loners or family oriented?
Troy, because we don't have so many skeletons, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if these guys moved in herds, lived in family units. Not positive. Not positive. That Troy, the Pachycephalosaur, looks great. Let's see.
Ben says he's seen illustrations of them with a thumb-looking thing. Is that like a dew claw in dogs?
Oh, I've never seen that. I have no idea. Great question. I'm gonna look into that. These are, wow. I love you guys when you ask me questions I don't know the answer to. M is run out of any color besides blue and black. That's okay. This is Roger, the Pachycephalosaur.
Great name.
Roger.
Mm-hmm.
Roger appears to be standing on water. Is this like Jesus? He can walk on water. Roger is following in the footsteps of Jesus. Well done, Roger. Okay, moving on to Ryan and Sydney. Wow. Oh, I like that you've got the dino in the front to show us what you're working with. Those are good-looking dinos. I like those a lot. We got the stripes. I like you labeled the stripes. You guys are crushing it. Love it. How about Natalie, is your, oh, it looks like you've named it after yourself.
Good move.
Let's see. Margot, another great digital drawing. Pascal. Oh, I like that. Pascal, the
Boo. Natty named hers Boo. Great name.
Boo. Nice. Into it. Richard, just taking out a phone booth. It's funny because I recognize that's like a British police phone book. What does that say?
Doctor Who.
Police box.
Right.
Doctor Who.
My first thought when I see something like that, in America, we think of that as like a porta-john. But yeah, that's great. Smashing it into it. Inez, what do we got here? Ooh, Ulf the Pachycephalosaur. I love the little, almost like osteoderm protective bony spots all over its body. That looks great. Any more? We got T.
Cecilia's got a good one.
That looks good. David, the Pachycephalosaur. That's great. Nikki, this is 77G7. Oh, no, 77GJ. Into it. Okay, Mary Beth. The first fighting girl, Pachycephalosaurus. Heck yeah. Not just for dudes. We got an ultimate fighting lady Pachycephalosaur. Well done, Mary Beth. Let's see. Who else has got some drawings? Kim, shout out to you again,
got
Kim,
one.
just because your daughter is great at drawing as well. Ooh, Adela. Oh, I like that one. Coming straight through the screen, right at you.
Is my mom?
Colors. That one's good. Provinus. Ooh, Bulldog, the Pachycephalosaur. I like that. I like that guy. Oh, we got Fred. 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 Or it looks like maybe his eyeball is named Fred, but I assume it's his whole body. Got one big Fred. All right, that looks like most of our drawings. You guys crushing it. We'll do our recap in a second. Quick reminder that if you want to throw me a couple of bones, yes, that is a fossil joke. To support this, on Venmo, I am Dustin-Growick, Growick, or PayPal. My email address is dgrowick, dgrowick @gmail.com. It is greatly appreciated. You guys, these drawings bring me love and light every day. This is an interesting interpretation. I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at here, but I like what you've done. It looks like maybe you're eating an insect. Is it eating an insect there? It might be happening. I like the Pac-Man nature of this one right here. We got one more from Hunter Jones.
Nikki says it was Jeff.
It was Jeff. Okay. I like Brad, unless Brad is maybe being eaten or swallowed by a giant abyss. So I'm going to come back to you, Christina.
Yeah.
Because I know you've been working. Actually, I don't have to come back to you. You can just talk and you'll come to the front.
Yeah. I have been working on an art project over here. Dustin, could you share your screen again and show us that picture of where there's the guy and then the smaller dino for scale?
I have a couple of those, so you'll have to the sassy lady or just the black.
Yeah, that one that your cursor's on now. I just made an observation. If you all want to look at my screen, I think it's Dustin.
I mean,
yeah, no, 100%.
I need to find your screen now so I can.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, Christina, 100%.
Yes, Keisha and Daniel said they thought the same thing.
Yeah.
We're all just scientists making observations on morphology, you know?
I mean, I didn't want to tell you guys, but I do have a very lucrative deal with Wikipedia to use my black outline shadow in all their first scale drawings.
Man, what a sweet side hustle. Good for you, Dustin.
So, Christina, I would love to show you on the screen right now, but there you go. Oh wow, that does look a lot like me. His legs are a little bit thicker, but you know, it's not quite exactly. Christina, do you know where that is? That picture was taken?
Is this in the desert in California?
Yeah, this is in Cabazon, which is about halfway between LA and Palm Springs. There's the Cabazon dinosaurs there. They're awesomely weird and kitschy. If you've ever seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure, they're featured in that movie. They're not life-size. They're way bigger than they should be. And the whole park is run by a group of creationists. So, you know, what are you going to do? Fun times, though. It's a good place to stop if you're ever driving to Palm Springs. Yes, okay, that's exactly.
Okay, I'm just still on the video, so I thought the people should see.
So we're running out. We're about to run out of time. We're running out of time on my Insta here. I'm going to end that. So, Christina, any last thoughts, comments, questions, you or Grace or any of my other esteemed co-hosts before we bounce?
I just wanted to share some parting thoughts on the Pachycephalosaurus.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't agree with us, including Zach, that it's one of the greatest dinosaurs ever, you might just be a butthead.
Nice.
Christina, could you break down your joke writing process? Like, I just want to get in the mind of a comedic genius. Like, how do you come up with material that good? Like,
Years of training, a degree in theater, and a lot of time on my hands.
Okay, that works. Yeah. That works. Any other parting thoughts from Grace or Christina?
I am really looking forward to picking the person for whatever that thing is called for tomorrow.
You play every day and you're a co-host. What is the name of the game, Grace?
Guess a dinosaur?
Nope.
Is it a dinosaur?
Nope.
Dino quiz?
Nope.
I really don't remember.
All right, new game. We see how long it takes Grace to name the actual game that she won literally less than an hour ago.
Dino, not a dino. Thank you, everyone.
Dino or not a dino is the name of the game that one of you will play tomorrow. Grace will choose who it is. And tomorrow, let's do a quick recap.
One more thing, just for all my fellow Jews out there, Hag Sameach, happy Passover. Hope everyone has good seders tonight with their families and friends near and far.
Thank you. Happy Passover.
Welcome. Happy Passover. Hag Sameach.
Jewish brethren out there. and sisterin. Is brethren refers to not just brother.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all, okay. It just
Like
sounds
your
like brother.
your community, your brethren.
Your peeps.
Yeah.
Brother. Thanks, Max. All right, cool. We're just about out of time today. We talked about the Pachycephalosaurs, the dome head boys with the spiky things around the side. We learned that they use them probably for combat with each other to win over mates, but not banging heads straight on per usual. Probably more like giraffes, kind of head-butting from the side. Still not sure. More research is necessary. We saw some amazing dinos. Tomorrow, because we've had this requested by multiple people, there may be a little bit of redundancy, but what we're going to do is talk about fighting dinosaurs. We're going to talk about some famous fights between different species of dinosaurs, how we know it, how we know they happened, how we knew they fight, and maybe who even won. So tomorrow we're going to talk fighting dinosaurs. But for now, I don't care if you're digging into a honeycomb for honey, if you're rooting around in Christina's brain to try to learn how to be a comedic genius, never stop digging. See you guys tomorrow for fighting dinosaurs. Peace out. Happy Wednesday, my dudes. And happy Passover. It's Wednesday, my dudes. It's Wednesday. Bye, guys. I love you. See you soon.
We do